Zoe knelt on one knee in a white suit by the ocean, asking, "Anna, will you marry me again?" I gazed at this man time had barely touched. Still perfectly aligned with my aesthetic preferences from a decade ago. 10 years back, I'd have wept over a proposal with a bottle cap ring. Now, watching sunlight glint off this 10-carat diamond, I felt nothing but the hollow finality of dead emotions. I slipped off my wedding band, tossing both rings into the crashing waves. "No," I told Zoe. Later that week, Zoe wrapped his arms around me as I watched reality TV. "Anna, you've been distant lately," he murmured into my hair. Without looking from the screen, I replied, "True. Should we end this?" The air thickened as he spun me around. "What did you say?" His grip tightened. Irritation flared. My dating show protagonist was about to choose between two contestants. "Let's divorce," I repeated. Zoe's jaw clenched. "You pursued me. You vowed Anna would never leave Zoe. Even last month you claimed you'd die without me." He wasn't wrong. A month ago, his touch would have set my pulse racing. Now, every cell recoiled at his proximity. 2 weeks of radio silence passed before our housekeeper cautioned, "Mrs. Wilson, maybe apologize?" A man of Mr. Wilson's status, her unspoken warning hung heavy. The unemployed wife replaced by a younger model. Past me would have panicked. Present me simply shrugged. "Who cares?" When Zoe finally returned disheveled at 3 a.m., his first words were, "You didn't even text." The old Anna would have bombarded him with meal reminders. Passive-aggressive check-ins. Paragraph-long fights. New Anna just said, "Sleep well." Retreating to my newly claimed guest room. Packing revealed how much Zoe had provided. Designer wardrobes refreshed quarterly. 7-figure monthly allowances. Anniversary jewels. Maybe I was ungrateful, demanding fairy tale love from a man who gave luxury. Zoe blocked my guest room entry. Exhaustion etching his face. "Separate beds now?" When I remained silent, he exploded. "I just want one normal night after business hell. Then sleep alone." I countered, suddenly understanding how suffocating my past clinginess must have been. Spotting empty drawers. Zoe hissed, "Why not just leave?" "Because you weren't here to sign the papers." His eyes reddened. "I'll never agree to this." The absurdity almost made me laugh. We were already emotionally divorced. Later, damp-haired Zoe demanded his usual bedtime ritual. Blow-dry my hair? Exhausted, I feigned sleep. When his arms encircled me, I stared at moonlight stripes until dawn, mentally aging decades. Our story began at 18, me breathlessly chasing the charismatic senior. Now 32. I felt 80. Zoe, technically older, still raced motorcycles, crushed video games, flirted with Instagram models. Next morning, engine sounds signaled his departure. Or so I thought. Downstairs, Zoe sat reviewing contracts. "Eat," he commanded without looking up. The soup dumplings tasted exactly like his college-era specialty. I pushed the plate away. "Want something else?" Zoe materialized, apron already tied. "Not hungry." His face fell. "I'll cook whenever. Just sign the papers." I interrupted. "I saw the draft in your safe." Panic flashed across his features. "That's obsolete." He sprinted upstairs, shredding documents with performative fury. I said nothing. Copies could be reprinted. The question wasn't why I wanted out, but why he still resisted. We'd become museum pieces, perfectly preserved, utterly lifeless. Love shouldn't feel like curating relics. As Zoe gathered shredded confetti, I wondered when exactly the music stopped. Was it his third missed anniversary? The fifth working late lie? Or the slow realization that we'd been roommates with benefits for years? Moonlight through our bedroom window looked identical to our first night here. Same silver beams. Different people. Zoe still called me Anna. But the girl who tattooed his initials was long gone. I used to fear emptiness. Now I craved it, the clean silence after constant noise. Let him keep the mansion. The cars. The facade. I just wanted my soul back. Last month, that girl texted me a hotel room number to prove she could keep clinging to Zoe regardless of whether I left him. In that moment, I suddenly felt exhausted. If I channeled half the energy I spent managing Zoe's mistresses into my career, I'd be at least a senior vice president by now. Driving to the hotel, I felt strangely calm, as if heading to casual brunch rather than catching my husband mid-affair. I found the room she described, retrieved the spare keycard from under the doormat, and entered. They were still clothed. I'd arrived too early. The college-aged girl with dewy skin that screamed youth and vitality clung to Zoe, whispering declarations of love while angling for a kiss. When Zoe noticed me, panic flashed across his face before realization dawned. He disentangled himself and demanded, "How did you get here? An invitation to the show?" I shrugged. "Don't mind me, carry on." Zoe stared like I'd grown antlers. Truthfully, the old me would have thrown wine in his face. The girl stood smirking, clearly expecting a scene that'd make Zoe resent me. Instead, I turned to leave. Why waste anger on contaminated goods? He followed. Since that day, Zoe's been home by 6 sharp, forcing domesticity through shared dinners and mindless TV marathons. When I used to beg him to come home, he'd disappear for days. Now that I stopped caring, he's become a house cat. Last week, the girl texted pleading, "Please don't make him abandon me. I love him, I don't even need commitment." I showed Zoe. She's devoted. Don't break her heart. I'll handle it, he muttered. 6 months of divorce negotiations later, we're still legally entangled. He refuses to sign. I refuse to scream. Our marriage deserves better than becoming another trashy reality show finale. Zoe's playing perfect husband now, business trips reported in real time. My name dropped in every interview. My presence mandatory at galas. His devoted family man image boosted company stocks 18%. Nobody sees how each public kiss chokes me. After filing for divorce, I co-founded a talent agency that's grown to represent 30 artists in half a year. I know Zoe's been funneling resources through shell companies. He keeps insisting I shouldn't work. But I'll take the lifeline without acknowledgement. Gratitude would only feed his ego. When Mom heard about the divorce, she screeched through the phone, "Ungrateful child." We starved together in those early years. Her generation treats marital misery like Olympic sport. If she endured 30 years with Dad's affairs, I should suffer 40. Never mind that her perfect son-in-law still stinks of other women's perfume. Hanging up, I stared through the penthouse's floor-to-ceiling windows. Our gilded cage still traps the sparrow who outgrew her song. Zoe embraced me from behind lately, can't bear seeing my face. I suppose. Do you remember promising me beach wedding photos? I asked the skyline. Zoe's arms tightened. Want to go now? Let's shoot them. If after that trip I can find one good reason to stay, we rebuild. If not, his voice cracked. We won't need that. He's been manic since leaving before dawn, returning past midnight, vibrating like our old husky during demolition derby days. I focus on prepping my artists for reality show auditions. 10 years married. No ceremony. No photos. Our first anniversary dinner was $15 fast food chicken rice. Later, as his startups flourished, arguments replaced conversations. We screamed until love became collateral damage. Until I deleted every wedding Pinterest board. Until silence felt safer. This beach trip is Zoe's last stand. For me. It's closure, bookending our story from white t-shirts to white lace. The entourage included 3 photographers and a celebrity stylist. I didn't ask our destination. Zoe always planned our rare getaways, this final journey. I'll follow. Let him believe in second chances while I bury first loves. 3 years ago, some starlet sent midnight photos of them strolling Maldives beaches. Checked into suites with heart-shaped beds. I shattered my phone that night. Then called Zoe pretending to have appendicitis. He arrived at 3 a.m. reeking of coconut sunscreen. Business partners insisted. He laughed, stepping over broken glass to embrace me. I shoved him away. Don't touch me. You're filthy. The stylist sips me into Vera Wang now. All ivory silk and shattered illusions. Through the mirror, I watch Zoe adjusting his Tom Ford tuxedo. His reflection overlapping with the boy who once held 2 jobs to buy my antibiotics. Salt air seeps through the balcony doors as the photographer calls. Places. Zoe offers his arm. I take it. For the cameras. We'll smile. Does this charade require holding hands and sharing a hotel room? Zoe. Do you think I'm an idiot? It was the first time I'd ever mustered the courage to confront Zoe so fiercely. Yet even as our argument spiraled into madness, I couldn't bring myself to utter the word divorce. Within a week, that upstart actress who'd barely made a name for herself vanished from Hollywood's radar. Whenever women flaunted their conquests in my face, Zoe would have them erased from the industry by dawn. But perhaps the allure of his fortune proved too strong, like moths to flame. They kept coming. I often wonder if Zoe ever recalls our midnight walks along Santa Monica Pier when he takes his latest fling to Malibu beaches. Does my shadow ever flicker through his mind during those seaside strolls? Zoe checked us into the Beverly Hills hotel where staff greeted him like family. The concierge's familiarity made my skin crawl. How many women's luggage had they carried to his suite before mine? At check-in I declared, "You stay here. I'll find my own place." His grip tightened on my wrist. Anna. We agreed to give this another shot. Are you walking away already? I gestured at the bowing bellhops. How many mistresses does it take to earn this royal treatment? Staying here would poison every moment between us. I can't promise I'll last the week. After tense silence, Zoe dragged our luggage back to the valet. Our new boutique hotel clearly irritated him. No personalized pillow menu. No reserved cabana. He chain-smoked on the balcony, though he knew cigarette smoke made me nauseous. For the first time in our marriage, I didn't beg him to stop. I wandered Venice Beach alone for hours, building sandcastles with toddlers, snapping photos for starry-eyed couples. When hunger pangs struck, I returned to find Zoe pacing the lobby. Where the hell were you? He demanded, crushing me against his Armani suit. Take me next time. I nearly called the Coast Guard. His chosen restaurant served gold leaf steaks and truffle-infused everything. As waiters presented $3,000 bottles of Cabernet, I pushed my gilded plate away. Zoe. I whispered. Let's get street tacos. His fork clattered. That garbage? You'll get food poisoning. Remember how we'd save for weeks just to split carne asada fries? My voice broke, recalling our studio apartment days, 2 Ivy League graduates sharing a moldy basement, pouring every cent into his startup. Back when Michelin stars meant ramen packets, and date night meant counting quarters for the taco truck. When our $7.99 platter arrived at the neon-lit food stand, Zoe's shoulders shook. Christ. Anna. He choked through tears. How could I forget? You dropped your McKinsey offer to sleep on office floors with me. I swore. I poured 2 plastic cups of Modelo. Tonight's not for promises. Just drink with me. In the amber glow of Christmas lights strung above our picnic table, I saw flickers of the boy who'd proposed with a ring pop. The man who once raced through midnight streets to bring me tamales when I had the flu. The partner who believed our love could withstand any storm until success became our tsunami. As lager foam dripped down our wedding bands, Zoe grasped my sticky hand. One more chance. He begged, salt mingling with hops on his lips. Let me earn back your faith. The ocean breeze carried the ghost of our younger selves' laughter. For that spectral version of us, the dreamers who found wealth and shared burrito feasts, I nodded. One last gamble on the man he might still become. I raised my wine glass, clinking it against Zoe's. Zoe, the first toast is to you always living life on your own terms. I downed the drink in one gulp. The second toast is to your company reaching new heights and smooth sailing ahead. Before lifting the third glass, I hesitated. You know I can't wish you happiness. Zoe suddenly stood and pulled me into an embrace, burying his face in my neck. Warm tears fell like molten drops against my skin. Stop, he begged hoarsely. Please just stop. I remained silent, finishing the third drink while mentally adding, this last toast is for my freedom, for finally finding the courage to walk away. Patrons nearby stared at Zoe's emotional display, but he clung to me like a child refusing to face reality. At 32, he'd regressed to boyhood vulnerability. I cupped his tear-streaked face. Keep crying and we'll have to cancel tomorrow's wedding photo shoot. Sweetheart. He sniffled and accepted the skewered meat I offered. The night blurred with alcohol. At first I always remembered you waiting at home. Zoe slurred. But after countless fake encounters, I lost myself. When you found out, those daily arguments, I was too scared to face you. Every girl I chose resembled you, the 18-year-old you. I never wanted divorce. That paperwork wasn't my doing. His confession almost softened me. Back at the hotel, Zoe pressed me against the wall, hands roaming my waist. I love you, he breathed, leaning in for a kiss. I turned my face away. He froze mid-motion before whispering, I'll wait until you're ready. I fled to the bathroom, trembling. Next morning, stylists transformed me into a vision. The couture wedding gown, Zoe's 6-month passion project from a renowned designer, drew gasps. Everyone praised my good fortune, unaware I'd waited 12 years for this moment that arrived half a decade too late. We posed along the coastline all day, cameras capturing counterfeit bliss. The final setup mirrored my youthful fantasy proposal scene. In his white tuxedo, Zoe knelt on the beach holding a 10-carat ring. Anna, will you marry me again? Time had preserved his beauty, still perfectly aligned with my aesthetic ideals. A decade earlier, I'd have wept over a soda can tab proposal. Now, staring at the glittering diamond, I felt nothing. Plucking off my wedding band, I tossed both rings into the surf. No. The crowd gasped as I walked away. Zoe didn't follow. We both knew it ended last night, perhaps 6 months earlier. I filed divorce papers and vacated our mansion immediately. Zoe delayed signing, bombarding me with roses and jewels. When legal action failed against his elite lawyers, I channeled energy into reviving my career. Months later, at a celebration for my protégé's music competition win, Liam leaned close during post-party drinks. Suddenly he was yanked backward, catching Noah's fist across his jaw. Noah, have you lost your mind? I stepped between them as Noah tried to grab Liam again. His furious eyes met my steady gaze. Move, Anna. Make me. The challenge hung between us, charged with 12 years' worth of shattered promises and saltwater ruined diamonds. Do you want tomorrow's headlines to scream about a CEO bullying a rookie newcomer? After a long pause, Zoe scoffed at Liam. You're just a replacement. When Zoe tried to pull me away, I shook off his hand. Avoiding public scandal for his reputation didn't mean I owed him warmth. After Zoe left, Liam leaned in with a smile. I stepped back, maintaining distance. Liam, you've crossed a line. I'd noticed the camera flash in the corner the moment he approached. Nothing catapults someone to fame faster than rumors with their boss. As the highest authority he could reach, and Zoe's estranged wife, I was the perfect target. Liam drank heavily for the rest of the night. At closing, he slurred, "Did you really use me as a stand-in?" I eyed his deliberately faded vintage jeans and white shirt. We both know exactly what we're doing. My first encounter with Liam had indeed sparked déjà vu, a college kid bartending in threadbare denim, mirroring 20-year-old Zoe's ghost. But I'm not Zoe. Chasing shadows in others isn't my habit. Skepticism aside, Liam would only ever be an employee. Zoe was waiting outside my apartment, cigarette in hand. When I returned, he stubbed it out hastily. "Can I come in?" Dark circles framed his bloodshot eyes. Though I noted his exhaustion, I shook my head. "Say what you need here." He laughed bitterly, still stubborn as ever. Pivoting, he gestured to the building. "Anna, even if you're mad, you shouldn't live like this. Pick any of my properties, they're yours." Years of grinding in damp basements had wrecked my health. Later, as Zoe's career soared, he dragged me to specialists, coddling me into early retirement. "Now, I've kept all your keys," I said. As he left, Zoe murmured, "You're clinging to the past too, chasing replacements. Don't project, Zoe. I invest in potential, then and now." The next day, Liam's plan had vanished, Zoe's cleanup crew at work. I assigned him a manager and resources. But his fate was his own. Zoe's mother stormed in after hearing of our divorce. "You've leeched off my son for years. You'll get nothing." Her vitriol crescendoed with, "A barren hen like you deserves." "Mom." Zoe yanked her away. We never spoke of it, the pregnancy that once mended us. Back then, Zoe had beamed, inviting his mother to help. Her first words to me? "Divorce him. You're useless." Her control escalated until she shoved me, a hemorrhage. Our child gone. My life ebbing. Zoe later confessed that finding me in that pool of blood haunted him. He got a vasectomy afterward. That night, Zoe parked outside but stayed in his car. When I answered his call, silence stretched before he rasped, "Are you okay? If something happened, could you hit your own mother or disown her?" We both know neither is possible, which makes his empty comforts even more pathetic. "Zoe, you owe me too much." "Yes. So let's live our separate lives peacefully without disturbing each other. Okay?" Zoe hung up the phone and sat in his car all night. At dawn, I received a text from an unknown number containing only the word "okay." I'd been sitting motionless on the couch until daybreak, then mechanically got dressed and left. Zoe's car trailed mine the entire way. First I bought chrysanthemums from a florist, then drove to the suburban cemetery. Sweetheart, do you blame Mommy for not visiting sooner? The nameless gravestone bore no photo, leaving our little angel's appearance forever unknown. I'd often wondered whether our baby would have had my features or Zoe's, but that mystery would remain eternally unsolved. "Aren't you going to say anything to him?" I asked Zoe standing behind me. Ironically, we'd never visited our child's grave together before. After the miscarriage, I'd drowned in depression for years, to the point where Zoe still avoided mentioning anything baby-related or disclosing this burial site. Yet every mother needs to know her child's resting place. I'd secretly come here countless times without his knowledge. Zoe merely greeted our child while I did all the talking. Before leaving, I whispered, "Mommy and Daddy are separating, but we'll always love you." The divorce papers arrived swiftly, with asset divisions far exceeding my initial proposal. I liquidated the stocks without protest. Nobody turns down generational wealth. After the cooling-off period, we finalized everything at the Civil Affairs Bureau. "Anna," Zoe said afterward, "my door will always be open if you need anything. Come home whenever you're tired." 4 months post-divorce, Zoe vanished. He resurfaced one midnight, calling about collecting our beach wedding photos. "Throw them away," I replied. That ended our last direct contact. Later, I heard he established children's foundations and orphanages nationwide. They say he funds university students anonymously now, his corporation thriving without any personal scandals. Rumor has it his mother threatened suicide to prevent his remarriage. None of this concerns me anymore. I brought my mother to live with me. Watching my detached demeanor, she sighed, what's done is done. With this fortune, how could we not enjoy our golden years? My company flourishes. Not quite rivaling Zoe's empire but commanding respect in our industry. We keep crossing paths at events nowadays. He always initiates small talk while I politely extricate myself. Zoe's thoughts remain unknown, but my resolve stays absolute, no backward glances. Zoe's perspective that night at the food stall. I already knew I'd lost her forever. Anna wished me eternal freedom and smooth journeys ahead, never realizing she'd been my anchor through every storm. I'd forgotten that truth myself. I delayed the divorce like a fool, pretending the paperwork kept her mine. Then Mother's outburst shattered the illusion. When Anna said I owed her everything, I couldn't deny it. I'd extinguished the vibrant girl who loved life, leaving this weary shadow. During those 6 months between separation and wedding photo retrieval, I'd often watch her from behind that fragile silhouette. Those extinguished eyes terrified she might disappear completely. Hugging her from behind became my addiction, clinging to her warmth like oxygen. She kept insisting any replacement would do, that hundreds of Anna substitutes existed. She's wrong. There's only one Anna. And I destroyed her. I will always remember the first time I saw Anna Anderson. Her radiant beauty captivated me instantly. Yet my insecurities made me hesitate. How pathetic that I needed the girl to make the first move in our relationship. On the day we became official, I swore to love this woman forever. I repeated that vow countless times. But as my wealth grew and social status rose, I abandoned it completely. The day we signed divorce papers, I stood for hours at our baby's grave, mind terrifyingly empty. I'd lost the two most important people in my life, leaving only darkness ahead. The next morning, I visited the Buddhist temple. Though an atheist, I prayed devoutly every day for months, begging any deity listening to let Anna find peace and happiness, to let all suffering fall on me instead. Selfishly, I even dared wish for another chance in the next life, promising to love her infinitely more than she'd ever loved me. When leaving, I asked the monk, "What is love?" He gazed at the misty mountains and murmured, Amit Ba. Each soul follows its own karma. This mystery has haunted humanity for millennia. For me, love became the responsibility I'd carelessly discarded. Visiting Anna afterward shattered me. She flourished without me, a brutal truth. I'd assumed her financial dependence would chain her to our toxic marriage, even using divorce threats to control her. Now I saw clearly I'd been the shackles dimming her light. I became that pathetic ex lurking outside her apartment daily, desperate for glimpses of her life. When the wedding planner called about our decade-old photos, hope surged. But Anna coldly told me to trash them. How could I? I recreated our never-used bridal suite at home, finally understanding the monstrous truth I'd made the girl who adored me wait 10 years for a wedding that never came. Too ashamed to face her, I drowned myself in work. With nobody to spend on, I funded orphanages to atone for our lost child and lived abstinently to honor our dead marriage. But my greatest debt remains unpaid, Anna herself. Though I forfeited the right to seek forgiveness, watching Anna's thriving career from afar twist the knife daily. When rivals started pursuing her, I broke and approached, only to receive polite detachment. Her barely concealed impatience confirmed it. I am permanently benched. This love game's over. Now I lie awake countless nights, choking on regret until dawn breaks, knowing the brightest light of my life extinguished because I forgot to cherish it.